Welcome to the Silhouette Blade Maintenance video. This video will help you learn how to use and properly care for the Silhouette blade used with your Silhouette cutting machine. Alternate videos are also available on Silhouette cutting machine maintenance and other replaceable components of your machine, such as cutting mats and the machine's cutting strip. Always use caution when opening and handling blades. The blade tip, though small, is very sharp. Children under 12 should not handle blades. If you have a rotary blade, prior to using it, you will need to gently twist the blade tip cover clockwise. This will properly expose the rotary blade. Prior to use, we also recommend that you manually roll the blade gently over the surface of your cutting mat. This will ensure that the blade is rotating properly. If you have another blade type, there are no other special actions needed to set it up. To load your blade or other tool into your Silhouette machine, first unlock the carriage lock lever. For older models, this is done by turning the knob to the left. For newer models, this is done by pulling the lever out. Once unlocked, you can then drop the tool into the tool carriage slot with the blade or tool tip pointing downward. For newer models that have dual tool carriages, make sure that you are using the correct slot for your tool. You'll find a 1 or 2 on the front of the tool indicating which carriage should be used. For some older blades that have a fin on the body of the blade, make sure the fin is facing outward. For newer blades and tools that have a metallic strip on the back, make sure that the strip is facing toward the back. After your tool is in the slot, make sure it is fully seated by pressing down on the tool while holding the lock lever in place. With the tool all the way seated, lock it into place. For older models, this is done by turning the knob to the right. Most blades have numbered settings. This setting indicates how much of the blade is exposed in 0.1 millimeter increments. The blade setting is intended to match the material's actual thickness. For example, if a material measures 0.3 millimeters in thickness, such as most standard cardstock, then a blade setting of 3 would be used. Always round up to the nearest setting that coincides with your actual material thickness. Recommended blade settings should generally be observed. Use caution not to overextend the blade by setting it to a higher setting than is needed. Setting the blade to a higher level that exceeds the actual material thickness can result in the blade chipping or breaking. Setting the blade to a higher setting in order to properly cut through your material is not generally necessary. Instead, the force setting in the software should be adjusted to a higher level once the blade setting matches the actual material thickness. If the force setting is maxed out, increase the number of cutting passes to achieve desired cutting results. For more information on testing and finding proper settings for your various material types, be sure to check out our video titled Material Types in our Troubleshooting and Maintenance series. When working with fibrous materials such as paper and cardstock, you may occasionally need to clean the blade of any material that has been collected and built up in the chamber of the blade. To clean the blade, adjust the setting to 0. You can then carefully unscrew the tip of the cap on the blade by gripping the tip and twisting counterclockwise. Be careful as the blade tip is very sharp. With the blade tip off, you can either blow on the blade tip to remove any collected material debris or gently brush it away using a soft brush. When finished, carefully screw the tip back on. Though the blade tip should be screwed completely back into place, take care not to use excessive force to over-tighten the blade tip. Never cut with the blade cap off, as this will damage the blade and may also damage the machine. For blades that do not have a cap cover, such as the rotary blade and craft blade, you can untwist the entire collar to expose the full blade. You can then take a soft tip brush and brush out any debris collected in the blade tip area, and then blow to remove any dislodged bits of material. Blades may be stored in the machine when not in use. Most machines have a storage slot to hold your blade if it's not in one of the carriage tool holders. If not using this storage option, you can safely lay the blade on its side. Blades should not be stored with the blade tip resting or pressing against any surface, as such can chip or dull the blade. If you are able to observe that the blade tip does not come to a fine point, then the blade may be chipped or may have dulled down and should be replaced. Some material types will normally wear down blades more quickly. For example, film materials such as vinyl will not dull the blade as quickly as paper or cardstock, which are harsher on blades and wear them down more quickly. This is normal. If you find previous settings that were working are starting to produce lower quality cutting results, this would indicate that your blade is becoming dull. There are no methods to resharpen the blade. You will need to replace the blade according to observed cutting results over time. Some material types are too dense to be cut by a blade. As a general rule, if you cannot cut a material type with a pair of scissors, you will not be able to cut it with a blade. Avoid attempting to cut such material types, as you may damage the blade beyond further use. Always use genuine Silhouette blades and other machine tools. Silhouette cutting machines are precision instruments. Alternate blades and other machine tools that claim to work with the Silhouette machine may not be properly sized or calibrated to the exact necessary specifications. The use of non-genuine Silhouette machine components can cause serious damage to the machine either immediately or over time, and can permanently impair further proper machine operation. Issues resulting from the use of non-genuine Silhouette machine components cannot be covered under the machine's warranty.